All right, cool. We are recording. Yeah, just keep on, coming in. Take some chairs from the side if you need some. Yeah. Cool. Yes, I don't think I need the mic. Yeah, so that's a little bit about us. Yeah, so I guess yeah, I'll get that later. Essentially, like, what is machine learning and artificial intelligence? You hear it every day, buzzwords, I want to do machine learning, I want to do intelligence, but like, what is it? Essentially, it's like, in layers. So like the whole broad thing of artificial intelligence is essentially like what it says right here, program, with the ability to learn and reason, like us, like humans, not like a robot. And more specifically, what comes under that is machine learning, which is like actually doing, solving problems, computers solving problems without it being explicitly programmed to do so. So yeah. Oh, well, that's gonna be annoying. Okay. Yeah. Oof. Yeah. That makes sense. Cool. But yeah. Cool. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, machine learning. Yeah, so we're mostly gonna be focusing on machine learning. I think we're gonna be mostly focusing on machine learning this semester rather than deep learning, which is a whole nother thing. But yeah, that's the essential idea is have a computer that solves problems, but without us explicitly telling them to solve the problem. So what does this actually look like? So another way to phrase that is, I'm pretty sure this guy's engineer at Google or something, but he said that machine learning is using data to answer questions. And that, I think that's a great way to say it, right? So here we have like the classic example of like a Titanic data set. It essentially has all the passengers that were aboard on the fateful night of the Titanic. And the question is essentially like, given all the information, all the, the data about these people, their name, their sex, their age, where they were located in the ship, did they survive or not? And essentially, we give this data to a computer and ask it, okay, here's all the information about, Mr. Owen Harris, for example. Did he survive or not? And the computer has to use, the data laid out here, some fancy math stuff, predictions. Like, okay, he did survive. So yeah, that's just another definition of, another way to say it. So this is like how the actual process goes. And this is a good segue to explain what we're going to be doing this semester in Pioneers. Pioneers like more practical, hands-on coding stuff. So at the very beginning, we have data collection and processing, which involves stuff like web scraping, getting big data sources from stuff like maybe Kaggle, all, the good data sources. We're not going to be focusing too much on that because frankly, it's a little boring and like can be a little tedious. So yeah. So first we have to get the data from somewhere. And then, so we're going to be focusing on like once you get the data, you have to process it. And that involves a lot of stuff like data science, which we'll be getting into next week and probably in a week after that. And then after you, cleaned up your data, filled in like missing values and stuff like that, you got your data. Now is the time you get to feed it into a machine learning model. And essentially, the general procedure for any machine learning model is that you want to predict off the data. So we have like two stages to do that in a model. We have the training stage and we have the testing stage. So like in the training stage, we have all this data. The machine learning looks at the data somehow, some way through, math and linear algebra, count 3, I think. It makes a prediction, right? But sometimes the prediction isn't always accurate to what the actual thing is. So for example, the machine could have said like, okay, this passenger is going to die, when in actuality, the passenger didn't actually die. So that's where we check, okay, did it get the prediction right? So we're here, check cost. Like the cost is like, the difference between the actual value and the predicted value. And if there's like a significant cost, we try to go to the optimization stage where you try to, how do I say this? Set different parameters in machine learning model. Okay, where did I go wrong? Where did I need to, reset all my thinking noggins? Just like, it's like how we learn in real life, right? Sometimes like if you're riding a bike, you don't always, not fall the first time. You have a couple of bruises and scratches before you actually, get stable and, ride without injury. So yeah, keep on doing that. That's training. And then testing is where we put so like after it's trained, after it's learned from its mistakes and all that stuff, we put it in the testing stage where we see if whether all the learning paid off. We see how accurate the machine learning model is in actuality. And then usually we have deployment, which is, using it in an actual business problem. So the training testing stage mostly going to be maybe week 3, week 4. The AI lead, whose name is Philip, not here today, but he's going to be taking through most of that. But yeah, any questions so far? I forgot to mention this, but don't think this is like a classroom. I mean, if you have any questions, just shout it out or raise your hand, whatever floats your boat. So any questions? Anything? Okay, cool. Yeah. Go. Would you recommend for this section? Yeah. Very good question. So for pioneers, I would say know the basic coding fundamentals in any language whatsoever. And by that, what I mean by that is I mean, if you're okay, who's in 131 here? Okay, cool. So well, let me first, do without 131 reference. But essentially, if you know stuff if you know how to do arrays, for loops, conditionals, if else statements, functions to an extent, I think, and setting variable names and all that, I think that's pretty sufficient. We're not going to be doing, a lot of advanced algorithms or advanced data structures. So just a basic fundamentals of coding. So yeah, you don't need to know Python, but we're going to be teaching you Python. So yeah, does that answer your question? Cool. All right. Any questions from the online folks? This is so weird doing it hybrid. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Cool.
I actually did have one simple question.
The big chunk of today, which is going to be teaching all of you lovely folks how to code in Python. So first of all, by a show of hands, how many of you know how to code at least a little in whatever language, at least one language? Okay, cool. That's the majority of you. You'll be fine. So essentially, Python's it's pretty easy to pick up. It's not like Java or C, so we shouldn't have too many problems with that. So the first question is why do we use Python specifically for machine learning stuff? And there's 3 big reasons for that. First one is obviously it's simple. So Python's known for having very easy, very readable syntax, and the benefit of that in machine learning is that when we're doing machine learning / data science stuff, we often want to focus on the actual strategies and the actual math behind it rather than, wondering if I, miscast a variable to enter something like that. So yeah, it allows focus on EDA and the model itself. The second reason, very important, is that there's a lot of libraries. Now, if you don't know what a library is, but a library is essentially a bunch of code that someone else has already written for you. So in Python, we have a lot of machine learning libraries, a lot of libraries where we can take someone's, complicated code and just use it as a function, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time we want to make a machine learning model or just do an operation on a row of data or something like that. So there's a lot of, libraries so there's a lot of libraries like pandas and sklearn and all that good stuff. And popularity, I mean, it's the most popular language in 2021. Everyone, your uncle wants, quantum Python nowadays. So, yeah, that's there. Cool. Okay, so I looked at the form that you guys had to sign up for before, Discord full access. So the majority of you had somewhat knowledge in Java, so I'm kind of going to be going off of that, but even if you don't know Java, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to follow along. But let's start with some quick differences of how Java and Python work. So in Java, to start off the program, you had to encapsulate all of your code essentially in this, main function, public static void main, all that stuff. And this is kind of clunky, but in Python, you can pretty much code wherever you want on the screen, you know, top to bottom. You don't have to like put it in the main function. So that's nice. That's really nice, you know. I can literally show it to you right now too in code, just like, you know, print 8 or something. And hopefully this works. Yes, we got an 8. So yeah, pretty much code wherever you want is the takeaway from that. Okay, and the very first thing in Python you're gonna know is how to make a variable. So recall in Java or C or whatever, what have you, you often had to put the type of the variable, the name of the variable, equal sign, and the value of the variable. So, you know, I have a string, its name is phrase, and you equate it to the string YOLO. In Python, we don't actually have to declare variable types. So we can just go straight ahead and be like variable name equals value. It's literally, that's what it is. So, you know, we have a string called band equated to Green Day. You have an integer called age, you equate it to 35. It's that, you know, it's that quick. So very quickly, if I want to initiate a Boolean variable, actually no, if I want to initiate a integer variable called math and equate it to, I don't know, 102, what's the code for it? Anyone want to take a shot at it? Making a variable called math and equating it to 102. Oh, in Python. Yeah, pretty much, or whatever number I said. But yeah, that's literally it. That's all you have to do for variable names. So yeah, any questions about that whatsoever? Then the other neat thing is that you can actually change, once you have a variable, let's say x is equal to 90 or something, you can actually change the type of the variable just straight ahead. It's fine. It won't break or anything. I'll show you right now. Okay, print x and then print x here also. Yep. So the program didn't crash. We can freely change about the type of the variables at will. So yeah, it's very cool. No casting required or anything like that. Oh, the other big thing I should mention is that there's no need to put a semicolon after each statement. It's just like, you know, the code, no semicolon. Okay, and that's, you know, variable name and value, good stuff. Okay, so the first, you know, the big, you know, programming concept, I guess in Python we're going over, is conditional. So in any like C-style language like Java or anything like that, you often had to, you know, put a condition. So if condition and surround the clause, I guess, with curly braces and then all that good stuff. But in Python, do something a little bit different. So it's kind of the same. Okay, yeah, it's kind of the same structure. So what we have, it says that we have if followed by the condition. I don't believe you have to surround in parentheses, but I just did it here for now. If, and then the condition, and then a colon. And then what's important here though, is that you have to do an indent between, if you have code under a condition, all that code has to be indented one block to the right. So if is amazing is true, you have to indent the print this is amazing code by one block. So, and instead of an else if, we have something called an elif, kind of a wacky way of saying else if. So you have else if or elif is boring, followed by colon. Then you have the other code for that condition. And then finally you have an else followed by colon, and then the code. So yeah, let me demonstrate what happens if you don't indent, because it's a rookie mistake to say the least. So if, I don't know, right? So 0 equals 0, and let's say we print yay. So right after that, we have an indentation error because we need to indent all the code under a conditional. So if I just do that, yay. Fix this right away. Okay, cool. Any questions about that? Anything so far? Don't be shy. All friends here, hopefully. Okay, cool. So that's that. Oh, that is conditionals. Okay. And then lists, arrays, putting, multiple stuff, multiple things into a data structure. So they're called arrays in, well, actually, no. Well, the slide actually has it. So do any of you know Nelson? 132? Anyone? Yeah, I see it. So Nelson was one of my favorite teachers back when I took 131. And he was remembered for saying array lists in Java are like arrays but on steroids. I'm going to slightly modify that by saying lists in Python are like array lists in steroids because you can do so much more than you could do with arrays or array lists. So just an example, we have, a list of strings, a list of dog breeds. So we have, as we earlier discussed with the variable, making variables, we have the variable name, dog breeds, equals, and then the value. So we set the name of it to dog breeds, and then the way we make a list is that we surround whatever we want to put into the list with square braces like this. And then we separate each item in the list by a comma. So we have a golden retriever string, comma, poodle string, German shepherd, comma. And if we want to access a particular element in the list, it's pretty much the same as you would in Java. You just put the name of the list and then square brackets and then put the index of what you want. So like in this case, I'm going to be setting the first element in this list to bulldog instead of golden retriever. So yeah, and to go into more detail what you can actually do with the list, let me just go in Colab. So someone actually no. Can anyone shout out the names of some candies or anything like that? Reese's. Okay, I'm gonna butcher the spellings on most of these, so please don't mind. Yeah, Reese's. M&M's. Yes, classic. Yep. Hershey's. I actually went to Hershey's Park this summer. It was pretty fun. Not a lot of math though. Anything else? Jolly Rancher. Oop, okay. So you can see here, I did pretty much the same thing as in the slide. So I just put the name of the list, equal sign, then square braces. Then I put everything I wanted to list in here separated by commas. So yeah. And if we wanted to, okay, cool test. If I want to access the third element of the suite list, what do I have to code? Anyone want to shout it out? Take a gander, take a guess. Yes? Yeah, what? Someone said something. Yeah. Correct. Sweet bracket 2. We got Hershey's. Very nice. I wish I had chocolate here, but budget constraints. Yeah. So if you want to add stuff to the list, all you have to do is use this function in Python called .append, and you append whatever you want to the list. So shout out another candy name. Anyone? Skittles. Damn. Okay. Okay. So we just add Skittles to the. So it's gonna add it to the end of the list. So I just do that, and then I print out like what is this? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. So we just like print out 4, right? I'm bad at math. Yeah. So we've had successfully added Skittles to the end of our list. Wait, just curious. Okay, yeah, it does show the full list. Cool. Very cool. Anyways, so yeah, you have suite 4, and that's how we add to a list. If you want to delete something from a list, I believe it's pop. Yeah, so if you want to delete something from a list, it's suite pop, and you give the index of the thing you want to pop from the list. So let's just say I want to delete the first item from the list. Yeah, okay. And now, yeah, we have deleted Reese's from the, we removed it from the list.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Another really cool thing about lists is that you can put pretty much any type you want in there. It doesn't have to be all the same type. So I can literally just append the number 3 to the list and it'll work. Yep. We have strings followed by an integer. It's crazy here. So yeah, cool. Any questions about this? Yes. Yeah, I believe you can. I think you just, shift everything else to the end. But yeah, that's possible. Yep. Anything else? Cool. Oh, I should probably check the online thing too. No, you did not. I don't think you missed anything, Annie. I don't think so. Well, it's all being recorded anyways. You know, you see it one way or another, I guess. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Okay, I think we're making good on time. Yes, we are. Very cool. Yes, lists, use them when you need to store multiple items in a thing. Yes. Is there anything else in this? No, I don't. No. Okay, dictionaries. So for those of you in 131, this may be new to you, but I'll just quickly explain what it is. So essentially a dictionary or a hash map or whatever have you, they're all basically the same thing. It's essentially a collection of items that are of this format. So each item, I want to say, is a key, and each key is associated with a certain value. And what does that mean? You asked me. Well, let me just show you an example. So here I have created a dictionary called ages. Excuse me, ages. So here I have 4 key value pairs. And what are they? So the keys in this instance are just names of people, and the values are the ages of those people. So for example, first one is me, Samra. I am 20 years old. So the way you do that is that you have the key, and then you put a colon, and then you put the value. So Samra colon 20. And then if you want to go to the front of Green Day, you have Billy Joe Armstrong colon 48. The key is Billy Joe Armstrong. The value is 48. It's just associations with the key. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be using dictionaries too much on our own. I think there's just a couple of things. Sometimes there's a couple of things in the machine learning libraries that make use of dictionaries and stuff. So probably not the most important thing in the whole presentation, but good to know, I suppose. Yeah, any questions about dictionaries in Python? I forgot to mention, but yeah, you surround them in curly braces as opposed to square braces for a list. Any questions about that? I think I should show you how to access a value given a key. So I could literally just do the example here. So yeah, I just made a dictionary, opening curly braces, putting a key, following that with a colon, then following with the value, which is 20. So the ages dictionary, if I want to access the value, like if I want to ask myself, wait, what is the age associated with Sam? How old is Sam? So it's kind of like a list actually. So you just put the name of the dictionary, you put square braces and you index it by the key. So ages, look for the value which is associated with Sam, and that spits out a 20. Yeah, that is how you access stuff in a dictionary. Any questions about that? Anything at all? Also, I love how there's like multiple TVs.
It's not as curly.
Okay. Cool. Where are we? Functions. Yes. So another thing functions are really a bit of a stylistic thing, just to a certain extent when we're doing data science and machine learning. Oftentimes we'll just be, separating our code into like blocks, like here, like a separate block for each code line. But it's nice to know, how functions work either ways. So the way you make functions is probably the most, new looking format out of all the things we've done so far. So essentially, you have to use the keyword def, which stands for define. Def followed by the name of the function. In this case, I called it add because we're adding stuff. And then parentheses, and then you put the parameters of the function. Notice that you don't have to specify the types of the parameters, just like you don't have to specify the types of variables. So that's very convenient. So in this case, we have two parameters. I don't know their type, but they're called num1 and num2. And then kind of similar to the conditional format that we saw earlier, you put a colon right after the declaration of the function, I guess. And then also similar to if else statements in Python, you have to indent all the code that comes under the function by a block. Otherwise, you're going to get an indentation error. So in this case, it's a very simple function. I define a variable called sum. I equate it to the sum of num1, the parameters num1 and num2, and then it would just return sum. So yeah. And to return, you just use the keyword return. Fun fact, you can actually return multiple values in Python. Yep. That's something I wish I could have used in 131 and 132, but you know, what you gonna do? Well, yeah. Any questions about that? Functions in Python. Cool. Okay. I could like make a function right now. Just like the same example. So yeah, use the def keyword, named it, the parameters, and followed by the colon. And it actually, so I should probably should have explained this at the beginning of the presentation, but oh well. So this is actually the place where we're going to be writing all of our code for this semester. It's called Google Colab. It's on the cloud, if you know what that means. So essentially, you just have to write your code into a block and then run it by pressing this play button, and then it runs your code and stuff. It's good stuff. It's a nice software. It's a break from Eclipse or something. So yeah, anyways, back to what I was saying. You do the function here, and then we define that some variable to be the literal sum of num1 and num2, and then you just return sum. Cool. So to actually use the function, I'm gonna have to call it, and I believe I can just do it here. Yeah, so essentially all you have to do to call a function is literally just name it and then pass in the parameters, just like any other programming language. So we just added 2 and 3 here, and we got a result of 5. So yeah. Like I said, you can return multiple parameters if you want. I believe this should work. Yeah. So this literally returns sum, which is 5, and it also returns 2 into something we call a tuple. We won't really be looking at tuples, but I might as well mention them. So tuples are basically like lists, but they're a fixed size. And yeah, sometimes the machine learning functions that we use print stuff out in forms of tuples. So yeah, good to know. So yeah, that is it for functions. Any questions? Any questions so far? Are we doing good so far? Just, you know, making sense to everybody. If anything I've presented so far even doesn't make a little bit sense, please stop me. I'll explain. Like, I'm going relatively fast here, but like, yeah, I really don't care. Just like ask me, I'll explain literally anything from scratch. I'll get you. Cool. How are we doing, my online folks? Anything? Any questions? Okay, I guess not. I actually did my driving school thing, hybrid, over the summer. So it's been interesting to be on the other side of that. Cool. Okay, function, yeah, yada, yada, yada. Okay, loops. So and stuff. Is it still okay? It's still recording. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. I got a bit of a connection error or something. I think I don't know what's happening right now. This is what happens when you depend on school Wi-Fi. Anyways, okay, whatever. Cool. Oh wait, my camera wasn't on. Oh, interesting. I'm so bad at technology. I lead a technology club. That's the pure irony. Really, I can't minimize Zoom? Damn, hate to see it. Cool. I'm really bad at this stuff, like seriously. Anyways, where was I? Loops. Loops. Yeah. So essentially in Java, we had this concept of like initialization variable. Yeah. So we essentially initialized a variable, often called I, and it started at a value, and then it stopped, the loop terminated after it reached a certain point. So like, for example, if I want to print out YOLO like 3 times, I would be equal to 0, it prints, and then you increase it, and then I becomes 1, yada, 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 and then you're happy. The loop terminates. So in Python, it's the syntax is a little bit weird, but it's kind of the same idea. For I in range 3. So I is it's pretty much the same I over here. So you initialize it, and then well, first of all, let me explain the range. So range is essentially a function in that you put how many ever times you want the loop to run, and it will do it for you. So if I want to print YOLO 3 times, I just do for I in range 3. If I wanted to do it like 10 times, for I in range 10. And you may be wondering, but wait, what is the range function? What does it actually do? The answer to that is that the range actually returns a list through which I iterates from 0 up until the number you put in. So for example, I think I'll just demonstrate that in Colab because it's easier that, oh, okay, I don't want to stop right now. Yeah, so if I do for I in range 3, so essentially range 3, all it's doing, it's producing a list 0, 1, 2, right? It's 0 and then n minus 1. So it gives me 3 elements for the I to be equal to. So in the first iteration, I will be equal to the 0. And then it will be equal to the 1, and so on and so forth. Kind of like how we had the initialization variable. It goes from 0 and terminates until it, reaches 2. So that's pretty much the same idea. Yeah, so essentially, if we do that, and then we have whatever function we want. No, let's not do that. Yeah, so for I in range 3, it printed out 3 times. If you want to print it out 50 times for some reason, we can print 50 YOLOs. You want to go really ambitious and like 5,000. There we go. I think I actually terminated. Oh yeah, just like a scroll down thingy. Interesting. Nice. So yeah, that is for loops and stuff. Any questions about? Well, actually, before that, there is actually another way to do for loops in Python, and that is the way that I said was kind of similar to for each loops. And this way often is very helpful whenever you're dealing with a list. So let's make another fun list. Okay, it's called TV shows. Okay, shout out some TV show names I need to binge watch. Anything? The Office, classic. Very good. What else? Sherlock. I have to watch that someday. Yep. Yeah. Come on, I know you guys watch TV at some point. Well, I'm playing YouTube too, but still. Anything? Oh God, I keep on hearing about that. It's disturbing. Okay, cool, can do that. So if we have a list, we can essentially make a for loop specifically for the list. And how you do that, you may ask. So essentially, we have a similar looking format. But let's say show in TV. So essentially, we just in the TV list, we define a variable of sorts, which essentially is going to be a placeholder for each value in the list. So for show in TV, is going to be printing what the actual show is. So it essentially just show took up the value of each element of the list at that specific iteration. So at first, show is equal to The Office, and then the next iteration, show is equal to Sherlock, and yada yada yada. Get the point. So yeah, that's just another way to do for loops in Python. Any questions about that? Yes.
I don't think the geometry pattern is good.
You would be correct.
I'm sorry. I
It's
just
gonna be
like,
a really chopped up meeting, isn't it? Oh no. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear
Well.
me, but the slides haven't been like available on the Zoom for like a while now.
Sorry about that, guys. This is very hard to handle. I think we're almost at the thingy. Okay, loops. Any questions about loops whatsoever? Anything? No one? Yeah, it's a Monday evening. Everyone's tired. I get it. Yeah. Okay, stop. So we are going to be doing some exercises. No, we're not going to do that. Cool. So we are going to be doing some exercises with your newly learned Python skills. And I'm not going to be coding anything. It's going to be you guys telling me what to code. So it's going to be interesting. So yeah, let's start off. What have we done today? Oh yeah, define variables. So can anyone shout out the code for if I want to be, I don't know. If I want to make a variable called door color and give it the value of brown. Yes. 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 Literally done. And let's check if you're correct. Oh my goodness, I can't spell today. Yes. Correct. Cool. So what if I want to make a list of, let's see here. A list of subjects, let's say. So I was going to make a list called classes, and it's going to be, you know, multiple classes. So I want to make a list, and in it, it has the strings, computer science, math, and biology. How do I do that? Anyone want to take a guess? Yes. Yes, that is correct. Math. Correct, Minnow. Yes, that is correct. Oh, okay, pretty loud. I didn't do something right. Oh, I forgot to close this. My bad. Cool. So yeah, that is subjects. Let's see. If I want to iterate through subjects, how do I do it? I want to print out each value in subjects. Yes. Each individual.
Subject bracket and then
So yeah, that would work if I wanted to do one at a time, but like you know, if I want to print out the whole list in like one thing. I think someone else has their hand up. Yeah. Yes. So how do I do that? Yeah. Subjects. In subjects. And then colon. And then print what? Val. See if that works. Yes, that worked. Very cool. Cool. If I want to make a function that subtracts two numbers. How do I do it? Anyone? Yes. Define. Yes. Subtract. Yep. Okay. Yep. Colon. One minus num two. Okay, so let's just test that right here. Yeah, cool. Good stuff. Is there anything else? Okay, yeah, you can do a dictionary. So make a dictionary where the name of the college corresponds to the state that it's located in. So we can call it states. So yeah, just do it for, let's do one entry. So do it for University of Maryland. How to make a dictionary like that. The name of the college is associated with the state that it's located in. Anyone? Anyone at all? Yes. 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 Very cool. Okay. And what if I want to what if I want to know the state that UCP is in? How do I access it from a dictionary? Yes, you in the back.
Yeah, you just put state and just like how you put
That's pretty much what you're saying, right? Very cool. Anything from my online folks? Yeah. Yeah, that happens. Cool. 1 second. I'm trying to remember what happens next. Okay, cool. We did the exercises. Now move on to the thingy. Cool. Sagar, do you want to for the gram? Yeah. I thought I wasn't here, so I just, figured. So essentially, yeah, that's it. 1 second though. So does anyone have any questions about anything we've done so far? I have one more thing after this, then I'll let you go. Literally anything. I'm open to any questions. Yes, you. So like instead of like I is equal to 1, then 2, then 3, like 2, 4. That's a good question. I believe that's built in directly to the range function. So let's just print I for demonstration purposes. I don't know the exact API, but I'm pretty sure that it takes in the number you want it into, and then it takes, if you want to do a step. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. So if I want to do what you just said right now, let's say 0 to 10, it's gonna like print out numbers from 0 to 10, and then we're gonna increment by 2, you said, right? So 0 to 10, and then last parameter is gonna be 2. I believe this should work. Yes, there we go. That is how you do it. So yeah. Anything else? Anything else at all? Okay, one last thing is that I have a stupid tradition at the end of each semester's first presentation, and that is a meme to sum it up. I kind of spoiled it at the beginning, but it is. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you, but yeah. All right, cool. Last order of business. Sagar, you want to take a picture? Are you guys fine with taking a picture of for the Instagram? Is that cool? All right, cool. I'm gonna take a picture of y'all and then go. I can take. Probably not the meme. Yeah. You got it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, that's the end of it. Yeah.
That's a lot of people. You want to go on this or? Oh.
Okay, now say something.
Guys, there's about 15 minutes left of the LD, I think so. There was a meeting at 6 to 7, but then it won't be taking that long. So if you guys want to stay on for another 15 minutes, that'd be great.
If you want to, if you have to go.
It's the LDR, yeah. So we'll just basically go over some things. So.